Yo, this your boy, the real McCoy, coming at you, man. We talking about boxing for my boxing heads out there, man. You know, we got a pretty big fight coming up in about a month away, man. Big fight at the middleweight division. Two of the top middleweights, you know what I mean? Top ranked middleweights in the world. You know what I mean? They're getting down December 5th at the Barclays Center, you know. Should be on PBC, you know. Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Which is cool because both of the guys are from Brooklyn, talking about Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillin, and Daniel Jacobs. You know what I mean? Very good competitive fight. Two good fighters in my opinion. You know, now Jacobs has a slight height and reach advantage. You know what I mean? Nothing major, you know, anything like that. But neither guy really has a good jab, so I don't think that'll play a part. You know what I mean? So neither guy really uses their jab that often. Peter Quillin uses it more, in my opinion, than Daniel Jacobs, but neither guy really has a good, strong, established jab. You know, that's not really what they do. I think Daniel Jacobs is 30-1 with 27 knockouts. His one loss was from Dmitry Peral in 2010, the Russian. Now, some of you hardcore fans, you guys might remember Dmitry Peral. Dmitry was the real deal. He was legit, man. He was legit. He knocked out Daniel Jacobs in 2010, and I believe he had a scheduled fight with Triple G in 2012. Now Triple G wasn't the household name that he is today, you know, but he had a scheduled fight with Triple G in 2012, and I believe he hurt his back during training, and he had chronic back issues that kind of forced him into retirement. But Dmitry Peral was legit, man. If Dmitry Peral would have fought Triple G the same way he fought Daniel Jacobs, I would have picked Dmitry to beat Triple G. You know what I mean? Coming into the fight, I was leaning towards Dmitry. You know, I knew Triple G's power was legit, but Dmitry was. I mean, say some of you hardcore fans were. Some of you guys remember Dmitry. You know what I mean? Some of you guys remember Dmitry, man. Look him up. Quick, athletic ability, a little unorthodox fighter, but the way his angles, his movement, little unorthodox, things like that, man. He was for real. Anyway, man. This video is not about Dmitry, but yeah, that was Daniel Jacobs' only loss, a knockout loss. You know, so it's not a lot of losses between the two of these guys. Peter Quillin, he doesn't have a loss. He only has a draw with Andy Lee. You know, earlier this year on PBC. You know. So a lot of fights, but only one loss between the two of the guys in one draw. You know, that's over 30 fights. That's pretty good, you know. And you got Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillin. I think he's 32-0, 23 knockouts. And you say the one time he kind of took a step up in competition a little bit. I can say the one time, but you know, as far as fighting some of the top ranked middleweights in the world against Andy Lee, you know, they fought to a draw. Good competitive fight, man. I personally would have leaned toward Peter Quillin, but the draw, I get it. It was during the second half of the fight, the later rounds. Andy Lee was starting to outbox Peter Quillin, you know. And as I'm watching the fight, the thing that's kind of standing out to me was that, you know, Peter Quillin has a tendency to be patient. And sometimes you need the patience in the ring, but you don't want to become too patient where you're sitting there waiting for your opening, and as you're sitting there, okay, I'm about to throw my jab, the guy you're fighting, because you're patient, he lands a quick 1-2, or a quick jab, or a straight right, something like that, or a lead left hook, you know. It's somebody because I think Daniel Jacobs has faster hands than Quillin. Not saying Peter Quillin's hands are slow, I just think Jacobs has faster hands, you know. And Jacobs has the reach advantage as well. So if the faster hands and reach advantage, you don't want to be too patient and let Daniel Jacobs get his punches off first, because Daniel Jacobs has some serious punching power. I believe his knockout ratio is like 87, 88%, something like that. I believe he's in the high 80s, you know. So be careful, you know. You don't want to be too patient and allow him, because that's what maybe he got a little gun shy, because I say this, the second half of the fight in the lead was kind of boxing himself his way back into the fight to a draw. You know, because he got knocked down in the first round. I think in the third round, he got knocked out again. But I personally thought Peter Quillin, because in the lead southpaw, Peter Quillin stepped on his foot, but the referee ruled it a knockdown, whatever. And then he knocked down Peter Quillin in the 7th round. You know, so good competitive fight, man. And, you know, when I look at these guys, trying to breaking them down, Daniel Jacobs, he drops his hands way too much for like from his trainer for my liking. You know, he tends to, whichever hand he's using to punch, he drops the other hand. Like if you're going for a jab, he does that. You know what I mean? Like if he jabs, he drops his right hand. And you don't want to do that with somebody with Peter Quillin's power, because if you drop that hand, and Peter Quillin has a good left hook, you get countered with the left hooks, you know, or if you throw out a lazy, because neither guy has a good jab, Quillin or Jacobs. So if you throw out a lazy jab and Quillin counters over the top with his right hand, he can get you out of there, you know. And Daniel Jacobs has been knocked out before. He's been knocked out by Dimitri Peral, and you know, so you. I always advise guys, man, keep your hands up, protect the house. You know what I mean? Keep it. Don't drop your hand. Don't do that. You know, protect the house. You know, you gotta keep those fundamentals. You know what I mean? Don't have a lazy bad habit that gets you knocked out. You know, and you know Jacobs, he gets power happy. He gets power happy because he knows he has great power. So you don't want to just rely on that power. Like he fought Sergio Mora. His last fight, he knocked Mora down in the 1st round. Good, like a right hook, a right hand on the inside, knocked him down. Got back up. He went after Mora with his hands down like this, you know, looking for the knockout. And Mora caught him with a left hook and dropped him. You know, and I think Mora only has like 9 knockouts. I think his knockout ratio is like 26%. He only has 9 career knockouts. And that go to shows you right there. Anybody who wants to get into boxing, keep your hands up, because you never know. Somebody with only 9 career knockouts knocked somebody down. He didn't knock him out, but he knocked him down. You know, you don't want to go in a head hunting and things like that. Your hands completely disrespect the guy. And he said, I wouldn't advise Jacobs to do that against Quillin, because if Quillin lands a flush shot like that, Jacobs, you're out of there. Look at Peter Quillin's last fight against Zerafa. Was his last fight? I think it was his last fight against Zerafa. That fight was pretty close and at least competitive. I mean, Zerafa had his moments. You know, Peter Quillin wasn't blowing him away, and Quillin was winning the fight, but he wasn't blowing Zerafa away. Zerafa was landing some shots, but he hit Zerafa with a big right hand. Wow! I mean, big right hand like Marquez Pacquiao or a Canelo Kirkland, just big vicious right hand. Matter of fact, I was sitting right here watching the TV, man. I saw it. I was like, whoa! Jumped out of my seat. But I had to calm myself down because Zerafa was laying there and didn't look good, and Zerafa had to be taken out on the stretcher. And you never want to see that. You never want to see a guy, taken out on the stretcher. You know what I mean? But right after that, Peter Quillin called out Daniel Jacobs, and after the Mora fight, Daniel Jacobs called out Peter Quillin. So, you know what I mean? So Jacobs, you don't want to go in there head hunting. Don't want to go in there with your hands down. Against Peter Quillin, because he lands one shot, you're out of there. You are out of there. And neither guy goes to the body that often. And being power punchers as they are, they should go to the body a lot more. Neither guy really does that. Because you go down to that. Until any fight, you go down to that body, man. If you go down, the door will be open and go upstairs. I guarantee it. It's boxing. It's boxing, you know what I mean? Go down, don't neglect going down to the body. Neither guy really goes down to that body, goes down to the body that often. Hardly ever, that's not what they do. But if they did that, the door upstairs will be open. And with their power, oh yeah, in my opinion, Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillin, Kid Chocolate, he's a little bit more fundamentally sound. Defense is a little bit better because of that. But at the same time, both of these guys can be hit. Both of these guys can be hit. Daniel Jacobs mainly because he's more just offensive minded. Where Peter Quillin, his defense is a little bit better, but he tends to lean straight back too much. Excuse me, and he's not really that athletic. He's really not. He's a flat-footed type of fighter. He doesn't have really a lot of athleticism. He's sometimes he can just rely on his power a little bit too much. Say neither guy really has a good jab, but Peter Quillin is the more fundamentally sound. And sometimes if you can't get the knockout, you gotta go back. You gotta go back to the basics, you know. But they're both there to be hit. You know, Peter Quillin, Zarafo's letting some shots. Andy Lee knocked Peter Quillin down in a draw. You know, both of these guys, Daniel Jacobs has been knocked out. So both of these guys are there to be hit. I just think, you know, Jacobs has a height and reach advantage, faster hands in my opinion, better athlete, and the better power puncher. Peter Quillin has some pretty good power himself now. I think his knockout ratio is in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. 23 knockouts, you know. Solid power. He's better. He's more fundamentally sound. Defense is slightly better as well. So this is a close competitive fight, man. Kind of hard to pick like a Canelo Cotto, in my opinion. You know, that's just my opinion. But I think it's going to be a close competitive fight, man. Especially when I saw Andy Lee fight Peter Quillin. I said, okay, you know, because I was definitely picking Peter Quillin over Daniel Jacobs. So I saw him, you know, step up, you know, against one of the better middleweights in the top 4. I think Andy Lee's ranked number 3, number 4 middleweight with TBR, and he fought to it. Now, Quillin was coming off kind of like a year layoff. He had some personal issues he was going through, but that was a good competitive fight with Andy Lee, man. And for Daniel Jacobs, since he lost to Dimitri Parag, he's won his last 10 fights, all by knockouts. Well, all by some type of stoppage, not TKO knockout, RTD, something like that. So all his fights have ended in some type of stoppage. You know what I mean? His last 10 fights. You know, so he got a knockout streak going. So that's why sometimes he can get too power happy and leave his hands down, and you know, he get reckless. He gets a little reckless, you know. I personally think Peter Quillin, his resume is a little bit better. With he fought kind of an aging Winky Wright, Andy Lee, Hassan Njokum. I know I'm saying that wrong. Hassan Njokum. For Daniel Jacobs, you know, Sergio Mora, Dimitri Parag. You know, at that time, Dimitri was one of the better. Yeah, he was legit. He was absolutely legit, man. And and some of the hardcore fans, you guys may know Caleb Truax, you know. And you know, Daniel Jacobs started him in the 12th round. So Daniel Jacobs, his power can carry to the later championship rounds. I think Peter Quillin's latest knockout was a 10th, I believe. You know what I mean? So both guys can carry their power to the later rounds, you know, to the championship rounds. I can definitely see both guys getting knocked down in this fight. You know, like I say, Jacobs, he got knocked out by Parag. He leaves himself open. Quillin has some good punching power. Quillin stuck up in some top middleweight competition. Andy Lee, he got knocked down. You know, he sometimes he's too patient, and he lets other guys get their punches off first. And Daniel Jacobs has some serious punching power, man. And I think he has a faster hands than Peter Quillin, you know, in my opinion. So I can see both guys getting knocked down, and both guys, they don't have a really good jab. Both guys' defenses aren't really top notch. Both guys rely on their power, and I think both guys are going to want to put on the show in the Barclays Center for Brooklyn bragging rights. And I think this fight is going to be action-packed, man. I think it's going to be an action-packed fight, things like that. I can see both guys getting knocked down, man. I'm not saying it will happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did, you know, especially with Andy Lee knocking down Peter Quillin. If Andy Lee can knock down Peter Quillin, Daniel Jacobs definitely can. No doubt, you know. when I looked at Daniel Jacobs, his knockout loss to Dimitri Parag, I was like, Peter Quillin is nowhere near as athletic, as quick, as fast, and his hands aren't as fast as a Dimitri Parag. He has the power to do it, you know, but he's not. I mean, Dimitri Parag was, the reason why I keep bringing up Dimitri Parag, because that's Daniel Jacobs' only loss 5 years ago, a knockout loss, and I was like, I don't know if Peter Quillin possesses that what Dimitri was able to do. Big flush right hand, wow, has the power to do it, you know. And I don't really know if Peter Quillin can do that. With Andy Lee, he fighting Andy Lee to a draw. I can see that happening. I can see Daniel Jacobs knocking down Peter Quillin. So I think he has the faster hands. You know what I mean? The better athlete than Peter Quillin. Things like that. If Andy Lee's able to knock him down to a draw, I can see Daniel Jacobs doing something similar to that. Maybe even worse. Because Daniel Jacobs has some serious punching power, man. I think it's going to be an action-packed fight. I just think the difference with in this fight is Daniel Jacobs' hand speed and athleticism, and him being the more bigger power puncher is what's going to get him the victory. You know, he may get knocked down, his chin may get tested. You know what I mean? But I think this is a tough fight. I was thinking Peter Quillin. I was like, man, I seen him fight Andy Lee. Not saying Andy Lee's a scrub or Dan Jacobs will blow Andy Lee out of the water. That's not what I'm saying. But that was the first time Peter Quillin got knocked down, and he fought one of the top 4 middleweights in the world, in the division, and he fought, and the fight came to a draw. And Andy Lee doesn't have the punching power that Daniel Jacobs have. So I was like, okay, with his hand speed and things like that, and Daniel Jacobs' only loss being to Dimitri Parag, and I don't see Peter Quillin being that type of fighter, that's why I'm going to lean towards Daniel Jacobs. You know what I mean? Gonna be a tough, close, competitive fight, man. Let me know what you guys think, man. Like, subscribe, man. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. My boxing heads out there, let me know what you guys think, man. Should be a good competitive fight, man. Let me know, boxing heads, what you guys think, man. This your boy, The Real McCoy, man. I'm out. Peace.